Hey, what is up again, guys? My name is Christosama, and this is once again Project Spark. For those of you who didn't see the last video, Project Spark is a video game where you get to create your own video games and play other people's creations as well. This is the very first game that I created. The majority of my time was spent on this page, which is basically the programming page for the character that you have. So you can see on the screen it's right stick for moving and shooting a little bit and stuff like that. This is a dual stick shooter, so sort of like Black Ops had the Dead Ops arcade thing. It's basically that. It's also sort of like Spartan Ops for the Xbox One, and I think it's on PC too. So that's pretty cool. This video was originally 4 hours long. It's currently in 2,000 times the speed, so the frames are much condensed. So don't be hating on the lag time. And that's my excuse. Basically, the main thing that I've been doing a lot is trying to get the programming down pretty quickly for people and like the players and the NPCs and enemies, because it's essentially kind of hard just getting started. Once you get the hang of it, though, after you make a couple players, it's kind of like, alright, I kind of know where things are now. Although there's like a ton of like turn styles and stuff, and like a ton of crap they have to know where it is, which is okay. I'm only like a level 3 at this point. I think it was like a level 1 or a level 2, and I didn't really have tools at my disposal, or at least not too many. But whatever. I was trying to make a sort of a cone, kind of a mountain sort of a thing, out of this house at one point. I think it's probably right here, but I just ended up doing it on my own. All of this was like a half an hour, which is amazing that it's this fast. But anyway, so I sort of went away from the force thing after a while and just sort of started doing it. What you're seeing now is the, well, okay, now it's it, programming. But basically the box that you saw was the sculpting ability, and it lets you create and disintegrate land. And so here I'm creating the person that we got going on here. The title of this is basically the Scarlet Archer, and so that's just the creation of my character and stuff like that. And so apparently there are micro transactions in this game, which kind of pissed me off. But so I had to use like different equipment from what I had on her originally, but it wasn't that big of a change, so I don't really care. There are a ton more items and textures and stuff that you can buy. I think you get them by leveling up anyway, so I don't really see the point of that. So I mean, I'll just get them eventually, so you know, whatever. So there was still a bunch of stuff from the forest terrain that was left there, and I found out that I can make a bridge, so I was pretty happy about that, because I didn't feel like filling in the river. So yeah, that's still there. And so I was trying to make like a spawn, sort of a place for Remy, who is the name of my character here, Remy, the Scarlet Archer. Just sort of fooling around with the spawn point and stuff like that, trying to make it look special and whatnot. So here, like you saw, like sort of like the item list and all that other stuff. There's sort of like an open menu that you can find a bunch of different items at. I decided to add spikes to my map to make it look threatening and enemy-ish, because it's like a shooter game, you know? Kind of need that. I did actually make a first-person shooter game after this. I called it Squirrel Hunter, and I put a bunch of squirrels in the forest and a lady with a crossbow, and it was pretty fun. Although I don't really know how to control the cameras, in this game yet, which is still a huge problem for me. I haven't quite figured out how the cameras work, and you'll see that here in a couple minutes towards the end of the video. But so at this point, I'm just trying to add a little bit more because it was pretty flat at the majority of the map, and so I'm just creating, and so it creates it pretty square and stuff like that. And so whenever you create it, you kind of want to like toggle the delete a little bit so you can sort of get a little bit terraformed and stuff like that. The thing that I had a real problem with here was spawners, and so there isn't like a set thing that's like spawn this thing, except for spawn champion. And champions, I don't actually know what they are. They were in a recent update, and I don't know what they do yet. So I was just kind of like, well, I guess I'm not doing anything with that. And then here, I think I added music at some point. Might have been later. But, yeah, I don't really know. It was all a very interesting experience. All the things that you can do are pretty straightforward. They're not too hard to master. Not that I've mastered them by any sense, but I mean, I can use them, so there you go. And then I made my enemy character here. I wanted to make him look at least a little bit like Remy with the white straps and stuff like that. Because part of the fake storyline that I sort of kind of have going, sort of, was she's being attacked by the members of her old faction. But that's not really important. So basically what I was trying to do was program him so that he would attack my archer at a bunch of different times. So that was working out fairly well. So apparently my processor doesn't like handling fast forward very much because my screen went black for a little bit. Anyway, so I'm still trying to program this guy, and I do it a little bit after a while. I eventually used a goblin, which is automatically an enemy, and just sort of copied his programming. So, and then I'm just sort of flying around, sort of doing stuff. It's sort of this next part that I kind of care about, because this is where you get to see like all the testing and stuff that I did, because Remy's brain, like her programming, wasn't particularly working out the way that I wanted to, and same with the enemy. And so because they weren't working out very well, I wanted to make it so like she wasn't moving there, and there was a very long time where I couldn't figure out why, and it was because I had it in a looping process on accident. I figured out how that works after a while, but after that it was pretty much straight sailing from there. I got her to move around, I got her to be able to shoot and spin and stuff. I got the NPCs to attack her. I didn't quite create a spawner for them, but I just sort of made a set number of enemies that I scattered around the map and said that's good enough by the end of it. And so through here, it's still pretty frame rate-y, but basically what you see is me going in and out of edit and test mode, which is pretty smooth as it now stands, and just sort of edit a little bit, and then try something out, go in, try something out, go in. I was having a ton of trouble with the cameras, which is not something you really think about whenever you play games, because most of the time for me it's like, oh, it's first-person shooter, it's like one camera, whatever. But for this sort of dual-stick shooter, it's like a fixed camera above, fixed on the object, which is you, and then like it can't like interact with props or terrain or whatever, and if it does, it freaks out, and whenever it freaks out, you can't really move, because you move with the camera, which is really annoying. So I was trying to fix that for a long time, and I eventually got it, so I was pretty happy with it. I can't really say much else because my video is black and I don't really know what's going on now. All I know is that this video is like 11 and 40 seconds. So I'm just sort of trying to talk my way down to that amount of time, which is totally okay. I tried a bunch of different stuff with the cameras and didn't quite work. If you like the creation of my world and my game, I'll certainly create more. I probably won't post the Squirrel Hunter game footage because it was really simple and didn't really put any work into it. This one took me about 4 hours, so that's quite the amount of work for me. Oh, there you go. There's video. There's me deleting enemies, screwing around with Remy's shooting frequency and speed and damage and stuff, and then with his damage and stuff, and then testing, and then editing, and then testing, and then programming, and then testing. And she actually runs around now, which is really nice. Changing the angle numbers, and it worked a lot better. So, and then I decided to take off some of the other stuff. I was thinking about it, but it didn't work out too well. So, it was okay though. Thanks for watching. This has been Christosama. Like, favorite, subscribe, and there will be more content soon. Bye bye!